students. Uh, as you all know that we have already done with the justification for the chapter 1. So today we are going to see the justifications for the chapter 2, which is already given to you in the form of PDF. So I consider that you all have gone through it, and now let us see what is the format of the justifications and what should be the points to justify those statements, right? Now, the first is registration of a joint stock company is compulsory, right? So, the registrations is something which you do to make a company valid or in a legal form, right? To make anything work legally, to make any company, any institution a legal body, you have to register it, right? With the registration, the company or the institute gets its individual name, get its individual existence, and after that existence the company can act on its own, right? As the company becomes an artificial person. So that is the reason registration is compulsory. Now, a joint stock company, when it registers itself, right, when it forms itself, then it gets individual separate powers other than the members of the company and other than the people who are associated with the company, and that is why this feature makes joint stock company a unique form of business organization. So when we talk about the registrations of joint stock company, it actually it attracts the investors to invest in a joint stock company. Why? Because when the company get a separate legal existence, when a company get registered with its different identity as a legal body, the liability also becomes separate of the members of the company, and of the company itself. So when the liabilities are different, that means whenever the company has to take loan and whenever the company has to repay back its loan, the liabilities will be different. That is, no members will be included or demanded the money that the company has to pay back. So that is the biggest merit and the quality of a joint stock company which attracts the investors. Now let us see point by point what do you what can you write for the justification of the statement. The first is a joint stock company is defined as an incorporated association. Incorporated association means a company which is formed, which is artificially made by human activities, and that thing or that institute has become now a legal body. That means by the process of incorporation. Incorporation means to give birth to the company artificially, because as we all know, the company is not a natural person like you and me. So a company is an artificial person, so that is the reason we have to give birth to the company, decide its name, decides its common seal, that is stamp. So therefore a joint stock company is defined as an incorporated association. It means it is an association registered under the Companies Act or Special Act of the Parliament, right? So we all know every joint stock company gets either made under Companies Act or under any special act of Parliament. For example, if you want to form a bank, then Indian Banking Act is an act that is specially made for those types of companies. In fact, a company comes into existence only when it gets the certificate of incorporation from the registrar of company. So whenever the registrar gives the certificate to the company, from then only the company becomes an artificial person, and from then itself the company can work and can come into existence. That means the date of incorporation is the birth date of that company. In other words, registration is similar to the birth of a company. On getting the certificate of incorporation, the company gets an independent legal status. Independent means separate from its members, legal existence. That means the company is no more dependent on the existence and working of the members of the company. It has become an independent legal body which can have its own name, which can have its birth certificate, which can have its common seal in the form of signature, for which the company can give the approval and all. So that is why the company have an independent legal status. That is, it becomes a corporate body. An unregistered organization or association has no corporate existence, and hence it cannot be called a company, and hence the registration of a joint stock company is compulsory. A joint stock company means itself a registered corporate or a registered company. So unless and until the company is registered, it cannot become company, and hence the registration of a joint stock company is compulsory. The next is, a joint stock company is an artificial person. As I have told earlier, a joint stock company is not a natural person like you and me. It is an artificial person, right? It has some of the rights, but that rights has to be done or executed in the presence of, or in the presence of some people. So the company needs some of the people for working, but the final authority or whatever decision is being taken, that will be by the name of the company, that the company has given the approval, the company has taken the decision. Now, a company has an artificial personality of its own, recognized by law. So, if it is not a natural person, that means it has to be a legal body. That is, it should be a company, it should be a registered company in the eyes of law. It is invisible and intangible, of course, and everything a company does is regulated by law. So everything, every work that is being done by a company, that is regulated and controlled by the law, that is the central government and the registrar of a companies. So that is why it is very important that every company should follow the Companies Act and every rules and regulations which is specially made for the businesses and for the companies. It has a personality of its own only in the eyes of law, which cannot be seen. So every joint stock company has a personality in the eyes of law. That is, it is identifiable, and it can sue someone, or someone can sue a company on its own name, because it has a separate legal identity of its. In short, a company's birth, existence and death are regulated by law and no one else. So, a company is an artificial legal person. It is artificial because it is not it is created by a process other than the natural birth. That means there is no natural birth for the companies. We have to give them birth artificially, right? So that is why a company is an artificial person. It comes into existence through the operation of the law. Whatever operation means, all the activities done by the law means we have to follow a process to make the company register and to form the identity of our company. It can do a number of things which can be done by a natural person, that it can enter into contracts. If the company is having its own identity in the eyes of law, that means that means the company is allowed to enter into the contracts. It can purchase and sell the assets. It can sue the other companies or people, and it can get sued also. If someone wants to do the case on the company, he or she can do. Even the company can purchase the shares and can invest into the various type of investments in the society. So whatever things a natural person can do, many things can be done by the company also. It acts through the board of directors elected by the members. So whatever directors are taking the decisions, that decision will be of the company, and the directors do not give their approval for anything. The approval and every sanctioning is done by the name of the company. Next, the liability of shareholder of the company is limited. The liability of the shareholder, right, is limited. Limited up to the extent of the shares held by them. And what is liability? Liability means कितना amounts the members are liable to pay to the company. मतलब company को कितना पैसा हमारे shareholders का पे करने का बचा है, और the balance liability is something that is udhari, or that is the burden on us to pay something, right? So the liability of a shareholder of a company is limited. So this is an advantage for the investors of a joint stock company. Why? Because when the liability is limited, मतलब जो shareholders को company को liability देनी है, पैसा देना है, वो लिमिटेड है, वो अनलिमिटेड नहीं है. मतलब there is a differentiation between the business property and the personal property. Being a shareholder, मुझे जितना पैसा देना है, मुझे जितना अमाउंट देना है कंपनी में, उतना ही मैं दूंगी, एंड द रेस्ट ऑफ द अमाउंट विल नॉट बी पेड बाय मी. व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑफ द लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी, इट डिफरेंशिएट्स बिटवीन माय पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टी एंड द बिजनेस प्रॉपर्टी. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ आई हैव टेकन rupees 10,000 shares of a company, I only have to pay rupees 10,000 to the company. A single penny over 10,000 I cannot give to the company, and from my personal property the company cannot demand me even a single rupee. All the liabilities, all the loan repayments, all the money that the company has to give, or the company has to bear, the company will bear by itself. It cannot demand from the shareholders, right? Now, the liability of shareholders of a joint stock company is limited. It is limited up to the unpaid part of face value of shares held by a shareholder. When the company asks the shareholders, or when the investors invest the shares for the amount in the company, in that case the company never takes the whole amount at one go. It divides the payments of the amount of shares into some divisible amounts, right? It can be equal, it can be unequal. So for example, if I'm a company, and if my company have for example 20 shares, right, and each share is of 100 rupees. Now, if those 20 shares, all 20 investors are there to invest in my company. So, if the shares is of 100 rupees, so I will at a time demand only that amount which will be required by me or the company, right? So if the company's work is being done by only taking rupees 20 from each investor, then the company will only demand rupees 20 from each investor, right? Now, what is the balance? The balance is rupees 80, right? Because every investor was supposed to give 100 rupees, but the company demanded only rupees 20 at that time. So each of the investor gave me the 20 rupees, right? So there are 20 investors, 20 into 20 will be the amount they gave to me, right? Now after a few months, or after 1 year, after 9 months, or after 11 months, if the company again needs the money for any project or for anything, then the company calls for the money from the investors, and that is known as call on shares, right? So and then the company demands the money or the remaining balance from the shareholders, right? It can be the whole 80 rupees, or it can be again divided into a few parts. So this is the way a company works, and once the full amount, that is rupees 100 in this case, is paid by the shareholder, so other than that amount the company cannot demand a single penny from those investors. Shareholder is liable to pay only the unpaid amount of the shares, if any. Shareholder is not concerned with the debts and the liabilities of the company. He is not at all concerned. He is not at all liable for the debts and the liabilities of a company. Why? Because the company has a separate legal existence, and all the issues of the company, all the expenses, all the financial terms of the company will be handled by the company itself, because the company might have the company will take the loan on the company's name only, and therefore the company is only liable to pay back that amount, right? Now, personal property of the shareholders cannot be used for repayment of debts of a company. So, the personal property of the shareholders will never be taken into consideration, and not a single money can be demanded from the shareholders by the company. While repaying debts, for example, if a person owns 1000 shares of rupees 10 each, then he is liable only up to 10,000 towards the payment of debts, right? So that is, even if there is liquidation of the company, that is the winding up of company, when the company wants to shut down, so the personal property of the shareholder cannot be attached, and he will lose only his shares amount, right? So whatever amount of shares he have invested, or he is taking, only that much amount he will be losing, not his personal property, or not the amount which he have further invested. The next is the ownership and the management are separated in a joint stock company, right? So the ownership, that means the owners, and the management, that is the managers, the people who manages the company, the management, the board, right? So these are separated. That means the people are not the same. The people who is the person who is investing, he can be a director, the director can be the shareholder. So this is not the case in a joint stock company, right? First of all, when we talk about the ownership, the owners are the shareholders. When we talk about the shareholders are not the person who invests in the company, who purchases the shares of a company and become the shareholder of a company. When we talk about the shareholders are not the person who are always available in the same place, in the same city. We can invest from other means we can get the investors from other cities, from other countries even, right? So it is not possible that all the shareholders are at one place. That means all the shareholders are scattered, right? So when we talk about managing the company, so a person who can always be present in a company, who knows all the day-to-day routine work of a company, only that person can handle the company. So that is why the shareholders are only concerned with the profit, not with the working of the company, and also they are scattered and they do not stay at one place. That is the reason they appoint the management committee on their behalf, that is the directors, and collectively they are known as board of directors. These board of directors take care of the company, they work in the company, they manage everything in the company, appointment of the people, appointing the work, distribution of work, the new project, strategical development, planning, controlling, staffing, everything is done by these directors, right? Now, in a joint stock company, the shareholders are not allowed to take part in the management of the company. They elect the board of directors in the annual general meeting, and all the management is selected by the board of directors. Thus, there is a separation of ownership and management, right? Now, although the shareholders are joint owners of a joint stock company, its management remains in the hands of a few elected representatives of the shareholders known as directors. The directors form themselves into board, means they collectively are known as board of directors. Soon after the incorporation, the company is separated from its shareholders and receives an independent legal status. All the affairs of a joint stock company is managed by the board of directors. The shareholders are large in number and they are scattered over a wide area. They are only interested in the earnings, in earning the returns of the holdings, right? So the shareholders get the dividend in the form of the returns of their investments. So thus a shareholder has no direct control over the affairs of the company. The board of directors formulates the plans, strategies, policies with respect to business activities, and thus there in a joint stock company there is an ownership and management differentiation. The joint stock company collects huge capital from the public. That means every joint stock company, to become a large joint stock company, to work, to expand its business, it has to take the money from the public in various forms, right? Various forms of investments, various forms of securities, and that is why it is the company, that is why the company can work and function on such a large scale. Now, the first, the joint stock company collects huge capital from public, and by dividing its capital in a small unit called shares and inviting subscription, मतलब लोगों को इनवाइट करना कि हमारे कंपनी के शेयर्स अवेलेबल है, यू शुड इन्वेस्ट फ्रॉम द जनरल पब्लिक ऑन दीज शेयर्स, राइट? होल्डिंग दीज शेयर्स इंश्योर्स डिविडेंड टू द शेयर होल्डर्स. अगर मैंने कंपनी में शेयर्स लिए हैं, सो इट इंश्योर्स कि मुझे कंपनी में डिविडेंड, कंपनी से डिविडेंड मिलेगा. दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ प्रॉफिट इन रिटर्न टू माय इन्वेस्टमेंट इन द कंपनी, and provides them voting powers in the decision making process of the business. And because they are the owners, they are the investors, they are allowed, they have the voting powers in the meetings, that is in the AGM, annual general meeting. A joint stock company can raise large amount of funds through different sources like issue of shares and debentures. Debentures are a short term loan taken by the companies from the पब्लिक. ठीक है, कंपनी क्या करती है, छोटे छोटे शॉर्ट टर्म लोन्स, मींस फॉर वेरी शॉर्ट टाइम, 6 months, 9 months, 11 months, 12 months. It takes loans from the public as a guarantee that you will be returned within a certain time the principal amount along with the interest, right? The interest given to the people are to the common public is more than what the bank and the other financial institutions give them. So that is why the people are also interested. And shares, you know already the shares. Accepting public deposits. Public deposits is again a very short term but an unsecured form of security. And public deposits is again when the public deposits their money into the companies. A company has a large number of shareholders spread over very wide area. In the case of a public company, there is no maximum limit number of shareholders, we have seen it. Hence it can raise huge capital from a large number of shareholders. Small denomination of shares, limited liability, easy liquidity and transferability, etc. enable even a common man to invest in the shares of a company. क्योंकि shares का denomination मतलब एक share का value बहुत कम होता है, limited liability है तो personal property को कुछ भी नुकसान नहीं है, easy liquidity बहुत easily available होना, easily बेच देना and easily cash हमें मिल जाता है, easily पैसा हमें मिलता है. ट्रांसफरेबिलिटी, अगर मुझे शेयर्स नहीं चाहिए मैं ट्रांसफर कर सकती हूँ. सो इट इज वेरी इजी एंड दैट इज व्हाई इवन कॉमन पीपल आर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स दीज शेयर्स. Thus, a company can raise huge funds through the mobilization of scattered savings of the people. तो एक ही जगह invest करने से अच्छा we can invest in many different types of companies and different types of securities, ताकि अगर एक company को loss होता है तो मेरा पूरा के पूरा पैसा waste नहीं होता है, risk पे नहीं होता है. I can divide my risk into different types of companies. As there are different types of shares, the company can make an appeal to different kinds of investors to collect a huge amount of funds in the form of a share capital. In addition, it can be raised capital by issuing debentures of different types and accepting deposits from the public. Right, so there are again many forms of debentures, there are many types of securities which the company takes and which the company issues and allow the people to invest in the company. These securities we will study in detail in the further chapters, right? Now, the credit worthiness in the money market, it can raise borrowed capital by taking short-term loans and long-term loans from the banks and other financial institutions. So there, the company has many options of taking capital, of raising capital from the public by issuing the securities, by taking the loans from banks and financial institutions, investments, interest. So it has a larger scope from collecting a huge capital from the public. Next, there is more government control and supervision over the working of a joint stock company. Why? First of all, a joint stock company works on a very large scale, right? So that is the reason the government gets the maximum money or the maximum funds in the form or financial help from these joint stock company in the form of taxes, because these company pays a huge amount of taxes which can contribute to the economy of the country. So that is the reason government checks it whether these big corporates, these big companies, that this is the source of the revenue generation in the country. So these companies should work very efficiently, correctly and legally, right? So that is the reason government keeps a major check and control over these joint stock companies. The company and its officers are required to follow the rules and legislation provided by the government. So government has made many rules, many acts like Companies Act, and for the employees there is different acts for the trade unions, for the customers, for the creditors. So many rules are there and all the companies have to follow. If they do not follow these, then they have to face the punishments and pay penalty for non-compliance. मतलब follow नहीं करना with the provisions of the rules. Provisions मतलब जो भी rules mention किए गए हैं, वो सारे provisions of the rules you have to follow. Every rule you have to follow. अगर even if the government has updated some of the rules and you have not updated in your company, so the government gives the last date for that, and you have to update your company with that rule within that certified time. In certain cases, if the provisions are not followed by the company, then the court can even ask the company to close their business or debar them from the certain activities. So sometimes the government bans the businesses or the certain section of the businesses, or even if the major means a non-compliance of the rule is done by the government. In that case, the government can even ask the company to shut down its business. The companies also have to periodically means within a certain period of time, submit different documents and reports to different authorities. अलग-अलग authorities है, whether state government, whether central government, whether MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, whether registrar. तो इन सबको अलग-अलग टाइम पे अलग-अलग रिपोर्ट सबमिट करनी होती है businesses को based on the annual reports, based on the auditor's report. So there are many reports in a company which the company has to make and follow. So the companies has to periodically within a certain period of time, it has to submit to the various authorities and also publish their annual accounts and annual reports every year. They have to show their correct annual records and documents so that the government government would check all the taxation policies, profits, balance sheets and everything. So that is why the government interference control is very much in a joint stock company. Thank you.